Hey everybody, welcome in. This video idea, I'm so excited about this one. Whenever I've done like a shop my stash style video where I want to pull out some forgotten products, I feel like I'm generally drawn to pulling out things that maybe I do remember, from a while back, or like an old favorite, something that maybe has some significance to me that I remember. But I thought, what if we just went with the things that are like at the back of the drawer, Like when you saw the title, you might have been like, back of the drawer, what's that really mean? But then you think about it for a second and it's like, oh yeah, the stuff in the back of my drawer at home, like that's the stuff that really is questionable, like doesn't get reached for, has somehow gotten stored back there, maybe forgotten about. I went through my drawers and got my full face of stuff that I needed for this video last night, and I damn near had to call in an excavating crew because, I mean, it was back there. If you got really deep drawers, maybe you could try this challenge and just go for what's at the bottom of the drawer. But for me, the stuff that really doesn't get touched a lot is way at the back. And I guess what I want to seek to answer in this video, is it really bad or is it just forgotten? And I just have a hunch that when I'm done with this, I'm gonna want to do this kind of thing a lot more often, because just looking at the stuff I pulled out, I'm like, oh wow, like a lot of stuff has gotten ignored in favor of just the new that's always coming in. So all right, who's ready for it? Let's clip the hair back. Let's have some coffee. The first thing I went in for was a primer, and what I ended up pulling out was the original Smashbox Photo Finish. And come to think of it, I really feel like I haven't used this in a while. I do like this product, and I think it's definitely been kind of a benchmark product for a lot of different primers that I have reviewed. Like different primers that look like this, I feel like I always come back and reference Smashbox Photo Finish. Also, Smashbox Photo Finish, not this particular one, but way back in the early days of my channel, I remember my sister getting Smashbox Photo Finish primer for me for Christmas when it had first come out, I think, and it was really like kind of becoming a hot item, and not a lot of people really knew about primers in those days. Yeah, this was way back when, and she had gotten me Smashbox Photo Finish, and it's so silky smooth, really feels like it evens out skin's texture. It's a good product. There's no reason why I haven't used it much other than I've just had newer stuff to be trying. My foundation that has been in the back of the class for God knows how long is this Too Faced Born This Way, and it's in the shade Light Beige. And I don't really remember the last time I wore this. I know I've reviewed it and I've talked about it in the past, but like it's floated to the back. So we're gonna pump somehow. Ooh, it's liquidy. Spread it around. This shade does seem to be kind of appropriate for me right now. I would kind of love it if this turned into a tag type video. I mean, I don't know how many people are storing their makeup in drawers, but I get the sense that a lot of people probably are. And if it's not a drawer, maybe it's a makeup bag, and you're looking in the bottom of your makeup bag and you're thinking, what do I never reach for? It's shopping my stash, but to me it kind of felt like it was on another level, because I truly ended up with some really forgotten things. And it kind of takes your personal decision making out of it a little bit, and it just forces you to go with the stuff that's in the back. Okay, what do we think about the Born This Way? It's definitely like a medium coverage foundation. You'll see a lot of like, I don't know, little spots and stuff still coming through. It seems very matte. I don't dislike it. We'll see how it plays with some of the other products I put on. When it came to concealer, I actually pulled out a couple of different things. I went for something that was kind of like a corrector type product on that side of my drawer, and then also a traditional concealer. So I ended up with this thing. This was way at the back. This all-around concealer from Catrice. They're giving us like some pretty rich shades here in terms of correcting, and also just some standard concealer colors. I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this peach and maybe some of the lightest shade too, so it can kind of lighten up into a more natural peach for me. And we'll tackle some dark circles here. Yeah, that orangey shade is not playing. I don't normally go that rich with my peachy corrector color. I'm not sure really who this is geared towards skin tone wise, because some of the shades are very light, but then your corrector shades are extremely rich. So I don't know. Texture of them seemed pretty good to work with, but the tone was just very like, whoa. I'm gonna top this off with just a traditional concealer. I pulled out this guy, which has not been used in so long. It's from Pretty Vulgar, and it's the Undercover Concealer, Veil of Secrecy. What shade is it? Apparently the shade name is under the Veil of Secrecy as well. We're just gonna slap this puppet on here. I just don't really remember my experience with this product even. It's been used so infrequently. I'm using a flat foundation brush to spread this out. And I spread it around the under eye area and then dab and press it in. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, I'm not mad at that coverage. I can still see a little bit of a circle coming through here, so I wonder if I can add a touch more. All right, what did I pull out for a loose powder? The loose powder that was way in the back has been around since 1935. It's the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. This is the translucent extra coverage. We're gonna have a scent flashback here because the smell on this is pungent. I know some people really like to bake with this stuff. It's been a while for me, I gotta say. I remember when I was trying this kind of up against the Laura Mercier and feeling like the Laura Mercier ultimately gave me the best like longevity throughout the day, the best looking skin for an extended period of time. And I've also enjoyed my Maybelline Fit Me, but it has been quite a while since I've used this. I'm gonna use my, this is my Real Techniques Instapop brush for cheeks, and it can be a good kind of baking style brush also. The tone of this is perfect, I must say, for me and for like what I would want to bake this area with. There's just powder everywhere. We're gonna let that hang out for a second and we're gonna move on to the brow product that I pulled out, which is from Benefit and it's called Ka-Brow. It's in number 4 and this has one of these nifty little things where the brush pops out and pops in. I know it's been a while since I've used this, but fortunately the product doesn't seem to have dried out in the least. So a brow pomade here. The most recent brow pomade that I've really enjoyed is the one from Makeup Revolution, but this one's not doing too bad. I mean, shade-wise, it seems to be very on point for me. Oh, by the way, how many of you guys, whenever I do eyebrows, that's when it's time to like reflect on important parts of my life. Who saw the Idol finale? Who saw the Idol finale on, well, it was Sunday and Monday. Were you shocked that they were in a relationship, Maddie and Caleb? I like started to cry when they announced that. I thought, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I follow them both on Instagram and I thought, oh wow, they just like seem to both be really good friends. But I didn't know they were boyfriend and girlfriend, so that was really sweet, and I wanted either of them to win, actually. That was how I felt going in. I thought they're both just, they seem very down to earth and very unassuming. I love humbleness in a person. I just like the thought of people like that, people with those kinds of, you know, really sweet, kind attitudes. Like I know them personally, but just the feeling I get from them. And I just feel like that's the kind of example, you know, I want my kids to see. Maddie, she really did like peak at the right time sort of in the competition. She just steadily, it seemed like got better and better. Maybe it was just the certain songs she was picking that made her seem just, I don't know, so good and so comfortable. But I'm also sad that Idol's done now because I've so enjoyed this season. There was a ton of talent. The way my brow stuff is stored, I didn't really have a lot like super far back, but I just dug in deep. And I also got this thing from Model's Own. It's called Now Brow Finale Brow Gel. So I'll just add a little bit of this in here. Like, when was the last time I used this stuff? Maybe in the video where I featured it? It seemed like it deepened things up ever so slightly. It didn't really add a lot of thickness necessarily to the brows, but just like a tint. Okay, now I'm gonna dust away some of this powder and we'll see kind of what we're left with as far as the look here on the under eye where we baked. I feel like I look super dry and still seeing circles. Like it didn't really help the coverage. Sometimes that's what I'm looking for, is just for that powder that I put on top to just say, okay, I'll take care of that last little bit of coverage that you needed there. And I don't feel like this really did it, and it already looks quite dry. Let's talk bronzer and contour. This came out, my whole NYX palette. I know this is Simply Forgotten. This is not like a bad product because I really love this for a time. I think the tones in here are super workable. There's like some non-shimmery highlight shades. There's some with shimmer. You got all these kind of bronzer type contouring tones. I'm gonna use a little bit of this shade. It seems like it was my most used shade. And I'm gonna just sort of work it in around the hairline. Whoa, you didn't tell me I had that Coty Airspun powder like all over my shirt. With this thing, I think it's all about the size of the palette. Like, this palette is so big, there's just not really a handy and convenient way to store it. And so it's kind of getting stored at the bottom and therefore not getting reached for a lot. But it is a good product, good quality in here. I remember reviewing the whole thing. And I think in that video I used it as an eye palette as well. Now I think I'm only gonna use it for the bronzer because I have a different highlight to use. And guys, look at this blush palette that I drew out. Broadway Powder Cheek Palette Kit. This is amazing. And it came from the dollar store, and it was quite a while back that I was using it, but I'm really jazzed up about the fact that I pulled this out again. I'm gonna use some of this peachy color up here. Excuse me, look at this. This is so pretty. Dollar General, baby. You know it's a good blush when I'm starting to apply it and I just sit there and say, that's the I'm satisfied with this blush noise. Love it. Now we're gonna add a little rosiness to it. We've got our base color. Let's liven it up slightly. And these are just matte blushes, and then there is a little highlight in there as well. But if you have Broadway products at your local DG, don't overlook this. This is really good. This is exciting, guys, is it not? For highlighter, I pulled out a separate highlight. This one, this was the one way at the back. It's Physicians Formula Powder Palette Mineral Glow Pearls in Translucent Pearl. Are they still selling this particular one? There's a little pearl on it, just so you know. It seems to be very, you know, out there, very shimmery. Let's try it on. It's been a while. Ooh. Okay. You can play with me more often. Yes. I'm into this big time. Like that glow on my cheeks. I hadn't pulled out a setting mist last night when I was going through picking out all my products, and in case you didn't know, they all sit right back here, kind of tucked behind my mirror. So the one that was the furthest back is my Urban Decay Chill. Oh, that's a nice spray or two, always. Feels good. I can't stop looking at that highlight. That looks really nice. I even pulled out a shadow primer. This is from Urban Decay, and it is the anti-aging long-lasting eyeshadow base. This is not that old. Don't be concerned too much about the age of any of these products, actually, because believe it or not, I have, you know, cleared out old products from my stash. Like after my room got painted and everything, I really did go through some stuff then. So it can't be too old. Texture of it feels nice, easy to spread. It actually feels a lot like Milani eyeshadow primer. What about eyeshadow? Whew, there are a lot of places I could have found it. There's a lot of things I could have done. I decided I'm gonna go for my bottommost drawer in my set of drawers. That's where some of my least used, like limited edition palettes live. And I thought I'm gonna go to the back of the drawer and the bottom of the stack. And what I pulled out is this from Urban Decay. It's the Vice Limited Palette. I cannot recall the last time I would have used this. Whoa. Let's repeat that. It's got that fun lid that really pops open. Shade selection here. Looking pretty cool overall. I mean, there's a little gold, a little copper floating around, but we've got purples, blues. Okay. Who out there has this palette and is still using this palette? That's what I want to know. I'm going to first take this color called Laced. Right here, it seems like a natural sort of starting point for the crease. This shade kind of looks like the natural color of my skin in this very area, just deepened up a little bit. Like just the natural bit of redness that I have in this area. That's sort of the tone it's taking on. Then I'm gonna pull a little bit of Freak Show into the crease. That's this purple with some shimmer. That's not translating super well off the brush and into the crease. Maybe it's more of a pack it on shade. Oh well, I've committed at this point. Whoa, wait, what? It's like I wasn't expecting to see anything and then I loaded on way too much over here. Oops. Gotta add more to this side now. Sorry if this is a little hard to follow, y'all. I don't know what to expect. I got my shadow like kind of way too far out over here, but I'm just gonna try to blend and make the best of it. While I'm working with this brush and just kind of blending out, I'll also choose a highlighter shade. I'll use Anonymous. Okay, then I'm gonna take Crystal, this really pale blue right here, with a flat brush. I'm gonna dab that right in here. Inner corner. Feels really dry, like just to tap my brush into it. And then I'm gonna take Goddess, this blue, and work this in all over the rest of the lid space. I kind of dig the blue. I'm not really sure what's going on in my crease right now. I'm pulling a little bit of the blue up to meet the purpley color. It's kind of an interesting tone of blue where it's not like a true royal blue. It's just a little deeper than that. I'm building it up just slightly here. And then I actually think I want to take a little bit of heat, which is up in this corner, hiding out over here. Get a little of that and maybe sort of blend it up around my edge. I don't know, it's worth a shot. I'm gonna try to work with Goddess just a little bit more and take a smudge brush and kind of run it a little bit underneath. Now when you put it on in such a concentrated way, it looks really navy. Just FYI for all y'all who are pulling out your Vice Limited palette. And I'm just kind of lightly smudging that shade along, just pulling it along. And then I'll use this Road Stripe shade and just dab that right around the inner corner. Ooh, that's kind of cool, sort of a iridescent little number there. Yeah, when you swatch it, there's like a light lilac-y pearl to that. For eyeliner, I pulled out a liquid that was at the bottom of my liquid eyeliner section, and it's from Makeup Forever, and it's called Graphic Liner Vinyl Pen Liner. And it seems to be a good shape, a good format, but I don't even know if I've ever used this. So now's the time. Time to shine. That was extremely easy. It's not overly juicy. And I'm not meaning in a sense that it's about dried out or anything, but it's like a nice controlled application. But it's plenty black enough. It's not struggling to show up on top of my eyeshadow. And then, as I tend to do, I'll find that dark shade Perversion in this palette. Bring it just down onto this lower lash line so it can blend with my liner. And then I will go back with a little bit more of that blue, just to help that all blend in. That's pretty. I like that fusion of the blue and the black. I want something going on in my lower inner rim. I'm gonna dig down for a pencil here. Okay, NYX Très Jolie Gel Pencil Liner in the shade Pitch Black. Okay, this should work. Ooh, it's kind of dry. Maybe it's time for this one to go bye-bye. Let's see if it, I can get a little bit on here. That's overall probably much drier than it was originally. Now for mascaras, there is, shocker, a part of my collection that is just nicely controlled and maintained, and I know exactly what I have. And so I just kind of went to the back of that. I did pull out this Voluminous Superstar X Fiber. So this is one of those two-parters where I've got the primer and the mascara. And this one I've used once or twice, but I haven't really given it a good shot, I don't feel like. Side one first. Ooh, the primer is black. See, it's been a while since I've used it because that was a surprise to me. Okay, we'll go ahead and let this sit on this eye, and then I'll curl my other side. Brush is kind of like an hourglass shape here, and the bristles, at least on this first side, are very, very short, but it does make it pretty easy to get on there. And this first side just gives a very like natural effect. Side number two though, ooh, this looks like it has some fibers on it. I can see the itty bitty fibers there. This isn't building up like I feel it should, because this formula seems to be absolutely rampant with fibers. I think I'm gonna do that first side down here on my lower lashes though. Hopefully it wears okay throughout the day. I always fear that when I go putting mascara down here that I'm a little unfamiliar with. Like, I can't trust you yet. Trust issues. Well, you guys, I didn't forget about lashes. I thought, what is lurking in the back of my lashes? And it's something I've never used before. It is the Urban Decay Urban Lash, and they're like individual clusters that have 3 little knots of lashes. I'm scared. I really don't feel like I know what I'm doing here. There's really short ones, and then at the bottom there's longer ones. I am not one who really uses individual lashes that much, if at all. Like, they scare me a little bit. I just feel like they're a little more tedious and hard to get them sitting like just the right way, but maybe these clusters will be a little easier. Just a little glue. I took one of these longest pieces, and once it gets tacky, I'm gonna lay that down kind of on the outermost part, and then we'll see how much more I feel like I need to put on after that. That highlight though, the highlight really is working for me. The eye look, I'm a little bit like, I don't know, the blue is just so murky. Not that like navy eye looks are bad, but I think I was just expecting a little more punch out of that particular color. The time has come. I'll lay this right out here. Okay. All right, nice length. It totally does seem like it's popping out of the blue because that is the only thing I have added onto my lash line there. Okay, I now have 2 of those long bundles on each side, and I feel like they look very like obvious that I've done that because they're kind of chunky, and I just thought they'd mesh in a little bit better, but you can totally see what's going on here. If everybody could just keep their distance from me a little bit, they might look normal, but oh man. I should have gone shorter working in, or like made these a little closer together. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, I'm human, but these are just a different ball game. Okay, these individual lash bundles. They were easier to put on and like make cling to my lash line, I felt, than just the individual little single knot lashes that you might put on sometimes. But I think you kind of have to work harder at making them blend because they are a chunk of lash. For lips, I decided I was going to go with a lip gloss, and I just pulled out 3 randomly. I pulled out one from my nude drawer, my neutrals drawer, and also a like pinky color too. I think I'm gonna go with this kind of coppery brownish shade. This is a Read My Lips lip gloss from the Balm in the shade Kabang. Now the Balm has just recently come out with a new line of lip glosses, but this is one of the older ones here. Ooh, I like this. I like kind of a caramely, deeper, verging on brownish color with like a blue eye. I think looks really fresh. But that's kind of sheer, you know, it's not turning out as dark as it looks in the tube, which is fine. That's a really pretty color. I'm a fan. It reminds me of one of those shades that I really liked from that lineup of new Becca glosses, the rose gold color. Looks a lot like that. Okay guys, so finished look. I think my skin actually looks pretty good. I mean, when I look up really, really close at my under eye area, I'm kind of like, ew, cringing a little bit because things are looking rather dry there. But on the whole, I feel like my skin looks pretty nice and even, and the way the blush and the highlight looks, I like that. The eye look is just very so-so for me. I'm not feeling it so much. The lashes, of course, I mean, that was operator error there. I think those could have been made to look better. I just really didn't want to spend all day putting on little bundles of lashes. And the lip is good. I like this lip color. But now I think I'm gonna do kind of an on-the-spot declutter, you know? Some of this stuff is gonna stay, some of it's gonna go. The Too Faced Born This Way foundation, I think this can stay, actually. I like the look of it. I should be using it more. The tone seems to be really right for me right now, so this can stay. This Catrice All Around Concealer Kit, this can go. Like, these shades just aren't right, and I don't love the texture enough to hang on to it for the sake of these skin tone shades, so that's going bye-bye. The Pretty Vulgar Concealer, I know this is not very old, and I think I will hang on to it. The Airspun powder, I feel like I'll be guilty getting rid of it. I'm just not ready to let that go yet, because I think the times I've been dissatisfied with it have been the times I've really full-on baked with it, and maybe in a lighter application, if I played with it a bit more in that way, I would like the look better. Definitely keeping the blush, definitely keeping the highlight, and these are working into a more prominent place in my makeup where I will reach for them more for sure. They're getting a promotion, y'all. I like that stuff. Oh, my Smashbox Photo Finish. I mean, this is essentially a full and rather new thing of photo finish, so I'm keeping that. The Cabral I thought did great. Actually, really, really pleased with that shade and that formula. I'm gonna keep that, but I think I'll let this Model Zone go. Got enough brow gels that I do really like. I don't really see the sense in keeping this around. I'm gonna keep my Chill. I really like that setting spray. Ugh, what do I do about the NYX palette? It's good, but I've got so many products to contour with. Oh, I just can't justify getting rid of that yet. I'm gonna let the Vice Limited palette go. Eyeshadows are everywhere in my collection. Just looking at the color selection, it's not really appealing to me. I'm gonna get rid of this Voluminous Superstar X Fiber mascara because that didn't do enough for me, and I'm also gonna let go of these lashes because it's kind of bulky and I don't really like reaching for this kind of lash, and I'm done saying like, oh, maybe I'll want that kind of lash. No. So all this stuff I'm gonna be getting rid of. Thank you so much for tuning in for this. I hope you enjoyed. It's definitely a new take on Shop My Stash and rediscovered stuff. It's like you're rediscovering as you go, and some stuff works out and some stuff just doesn't. So thank you so much for your time, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.